Joe, you're here for an important reason, to talk about a fire that took your house and how to help others to prepare and what happened to you and how you got help. So let's take folks through what happened on April 9th.
Well, and we had company over that day.
So it was right around Easter time.
Easter Sunday. So we had the family over, beautiful day. Nice breeze, hadn't rained in 3 or 4 weeks. So brother-in-law's out on the front lawn taping the kids playing touch football. And everybody ends up leaving, clean up the house, early night, go to bed. At about midnight, I was woken by a power surge. It turned off my wife's nightlight, which is a 40-inch TV.
Lots of people sleep with a TV.
Yes,
right?
My wife included. So about an hour later, I heard glass break. Okay, my wife and I woke up.
Because you're a light sleeper, so then you hear.
Yeah, light sleeper. So I pop up out of bed. My wife wakes. I thought it was the cat.
Did you smell anything?
No.
You didn't smell fire?
No. So figured it was a cat up on the kitchen counter swatting at something. I walk down the hallway, look down the steps, and I see a curtain on fire at the bottom of the steps. So I yell, fire. Run down the stairs thinking I can grab the curtain and pull it down and hopefully put the fire out. So I turn the corner, I stare into the room, and it's like staring into the sun. It's that bright. So I continue to yell fire, run around to the back, flip the lights on, run around to the back, make sure we can get out the back door. By the time I get to the stairs again, my wife already has one of our twin daughters and the dog at the bottom of the stairs. I get them to the back door, tell them to wait, come back to the bottom of the stairs again. My wife and our other daughter, twin daughter, at the top of the stairs, tell them to come down, get the two of them to the back door, get back to the stairs, tell them to get out. And as they open the door, a backdraft occurs. Fortunately, I was looking towards the room, kind of comes at me, was able to get out of the way. Unfortunately, the backdraft turns and goes up the stairs that our son is standing at the top of, like a flamethrower, and making horrific noises. It was pretty intense.
And this is happening very, very fast.
Quickly. So son's at the top of the stairs. I tell Kyle, you've got to come down. I need you to come down. And obviously he's staring at a whole lot of things going on at the bottom of the stairs that he's not, making him feel very uncomfortable. Get him to come down. He jumps down the last handful of stairs, and as he lands from me to you, and fire is surrounding him. So I reach, grab his arm, and run outside with him. When I get him outside, I'm thinking he's on fire. Get him outside, I spin him around, and look, and grace of God, he was unscathed. To this moment, I still don't know how. To this moment, I still have nightmares about it. We'll all get outside, come around the side of the house. We're all in a group together. Moments later, the windows blow out of the house as if a bomb went off. And a black smoke billows out of the house. I'm hyperventilating at that point in time. I can't hold my breath. I grab twin daughters and I turn, and as I turn, the black smoke, I take a deep breath of black, sooty smoke, take one more step, almost pass out from the smoke, almost vomit from the smoke, and this is 50 to 75 feet away from the house.
So the house exploded?
Fully engulfed. The windows blew out of the house as if a bomb went off inside from the pressure. The house is fully engulfed moments later. Fortunately, we were all outside. At that point in time, somewhere in the midst of that, my next door neighbor, who's an old friend of mine, running across the front lawn. He can't see me because I'm on my knees, trying to catch my breath. He sees the windows blow out and seems to think I'm still inside the house. And he said he felt like he had a panic attack. That's how intense of an explosion. Unbeknownst to us at that point in time, when we were inside the house, the whole front of the house was fully engulfed in flame.
How fast did this all happen? I mean,
minutes.
In hindsight, it was minutes.
Minutes.
The family gets out. You're standing there watching your house burn to the ground.
Yes.
What are your thoughts? Do you even know? What happens?
I mean, the level of trauma when you see something like that is incredibly great. And my first thoughts were, thank God we're all out here. Okay. We were fortunate enough, my father's a retired captain in the Bridgeport Fire Department, and my first memories of my father were him laying in bed with a broken back when he fell through a roof fighting a fire. And from the time I can remember, he would always tell my brother and me, if you're in a house that's on fire, get out. Don't put your pants on, don't look for your shoes, don't look for your wallet. Just get out, he said, because you'll never understand how quickly a fire spreads inside of a house until you see it happen. And I could tell you, from being inside, it was incredible how quickly it spread. And there's a term in economics called marginal utility, which is how much that next piece of good or service or time is worth. And frankly, it's not worth anything relative to the risk you're taking being inside of a house that's on fire, because you don't know where the fire is, you don't know how rapidly it's spreading. You're not qualified to make that decision. So everything could be replaced in that house except the human life, the animal life, photos, pictures, and maybe antiques, but it's not worth it.
So a family of 5, including a set of twins. One of the twins breaks a foot when she comes down the steps.
Right. Yes.
Your wife, as you told me, just basically throws her and the dog down the stairs.
Right. Gave them a little assistance on the way down. Yeah,
to get them out.
Yeah, she had to get everybody moving and going.
So you're outside. This is early in the wee hours of the night.
Yeah. 1:02 is when I woke.
How you remember that, right?
I woke up and looked at the clock.
Somebody taps you on the shoulder and says what?
Midway through the fire, and the fire is just raging, right? And midway through the fire, I get a tap on my shoulder. I turn around, not knowing what to expect, and it's a gentleman from the Red Cross. He extends his hand and he expresses his empathy. I'm very sorry that this has happened.
And seemingly came out of nowhere.
Right. Just totally unexpected. And I said, can I have a moment of your time? I said, certainly. So he said, do you mind if we go over to the truck? I said, absolutely. Get over to the truck. He said, why don't you come in? I said, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? I said, of course. His first question was, where are you staying tonight? I hadn't even given it any thought. At that point, I'm not really
You were safe. How could you think about anything else?
So he starts asking, do you have relatives that are local? Have you talked to them? If not, give me their phone number. I'll call them for you. So that's very nice. We've got, my wife's sister lives a mile away. He said, are they here? I said, yes. Have you spoke to them that yet? No. Well, maybe you should. If not, I'll be more than happy to have that conversation with them. Next question he asked was, is everybody okay? I said, well, my daughter hurt her foot. Have you, any medical treatment? Have the firefighters looked at her yet? Have the EMTs? Yes. That was followed with, what medications does everybody take in the house?
And how you think straight. And
I said, I don't know. My wife's a breast cancer survivor. I know she takes a handful of pills, one of which is tamoxifen. I know that's
a lifeline, sure.
The one that I know. I embarrassingly couldn't answer that question, and it was kind of it awoke me to
reality check. Oh
yes,
my gosh! Now I've got to live life again. But as you say, you suffer trauma. Right. You can't think straight. Right. But the Red Cross comes out of nowhere, and they've got a checklist, and now here they go, and they show up at every fire and do this time and time again. These volunteers. So they ask you about medications. Then what happens next? There's firefighters all over the place, and what's going on?
It's pure bedlam, and I'm sure my recollection of most of it is long gone, and probably as a function of just trying to keep everybody in the family calm and collected and focused on what was important, which was the fact that all 5 of us were standing outside. It really didn't hit me probably till the next morning when I started to realize the magnitude of the loss and what it was going to take to really start to get everything back into order. The Red Cross really started that process, but it's kind of the tip of the iceberg, and I didn't realize it. It wasn't any fault of theirs because they were trying to get the wheels turning in that direction.
Sure.
But
everything was gone.
Yeah, everything except the stuff in the garage that nobody ever wants.
Lawn equipment.
Rakes, leaf blower, weed whacker, things like that every husband never hopes to see again.
So you have emotional trauma, you've got a hurt child, you have virtually nothing. So you're figuring out where to go next. So you said to me that you went to a sister-in-law's house.
Yes.
Then you moved again.
Yes.
And now you're moving another time. This is since April the 9th.
Yes.
Trying to find and keep your kids in the school system.
Right.
And I'm bringing all of this up so that people listening to this know how to react and know some of the things that might happen to them. And this can be sort of a mini course, if you will, about what can happen. Through this tragedy, what have you learned? Because none of us thinks this is going to happen to us.
Right.
What have you learned through all of this?
I've learned that the probability is it won't happen to you, but if it does, a little bit of preparation could make a very, very, very difficult situation a little bit easier to get through. And I had the fortune of meeting a Medal of Honor winner a few weeks ago at an event that my firm hosted, and he had stated something that really resonated with me in that he said, if you ever go through a very traumatic event, a suicide, a nasty divorce, a catastrophe, combat, obviously, there's always some level of post-traumatic stress. And stress, as you know, manifests itself in many different ways. And people deal with it in many different ways. And the effects of that stress are different in people. So being able to mitigate that a little bit can go a really long way in helping you get through all of that and look back and say, wow, I'm very happy I did that. We all know a habit's difficult to form. And we all know, change creates a little bit of anxiety. But a catastrophe is going to change or create an awful lot of change. It's going to create an awful lot of anxiety. So being able to know, where your birth certificate is, so that when you go to the motor vehicle department, you don't have to leave after waiting 2 hours to go to the city hall to get the birth certificate, to go back to the DMV to wait another few hours, like I did and my family did, can help.
So you brought this with you.
Yes.
To give to me, and I should figure out how to fill this all out. What is this that you are saying that folks should do now while there's no trauma?
This is something, I got back to work about a week and a half after the fire, and I was sitting there at my desk thinking, there's got to be a way I can help people I know. Having learned at that point what I knew, and I know exponentially more than that 3 months later. And being new to the firm, I didn't really know who to go to, and I made a bunch of phone calls, and I was able to find somebody who pointed me in the right direction to find 2 documents that our firm has, and it's not proprietary. A whole lot of firms
It's common sense things that none of us does.
Right. And the document will allow you to understand the magnitude of different things that we need. This particular.
So what do we need that we're not paying attention to right now, that we need to, once it's gone?
Right.
What do we need to fill out?
You need, but again, nobody was hurt, but if one of the adults in our family was incapacitated or worse, there's a whole bunch of information that the other adult probably doesn't know, or probably does know but doesn't know how to access, or probably after going through a trauma won't remember. So,
it's an organizer.
Yeah, this is an organizer that jogs the mind to think about things that you really should have accessible if you were to go through something like we went through. It might be, okay.
So you've got personal information here. I'm just going through a personal advisor list, document locator. So this looks like a lot of work.
It is.
But you're saying, if you have a fire, you're going to be really glad that this is somewhere in a safe, in a strong box, somewhere where you can put your hands on this.
Absolutely.
Because you lost everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Why are you, having gone through so much trauma, now sort of taking this road show on the road and teaching people? Is it because your dad was a fire chief, or you feel the need to give back? You said it's part of your therapy?
All of the above.
So how has this come to you that you need to now help people?
Because having been a financial advisor for the last two decades and teaching this type of information at NYU, Fairfield U for the last 5+ years, almost 10 years, I now understand you need to know what you don't know. And now that I know what I didn't know, I almost feel obligated, compelled to go out and tell people, you really need to understand this, because if catastrophe occurs, you're going to want to know where your medical and health records are. You're going to want to know where your birth certificate and passport is. You're going to want to know where your government benefits are, where your legal papers are, where your liability paperwork is.
Because the questions are coming at
Absolutely.
you right away, whether you've had a fire or not. Now you're not paying bills because the bills are gone.
Exactly.
All of that's gone, and you start again. You talk so eloquently about the Red Cross, and I know for a fact that the Red Cross has had to merge some chapters now with Rhode Island. There's fewer volunteers, they need more. This is a plug for the Red Cross to help when you can, because they helped you.
Absolutely.
But how have they continued to help you since April 9th and you losing everything?
They've been instrumental in, there was a checklist. I met with Mario Bruno. We're actually in the process of putting together a blood drive for the Red Cross. They made me aware of things I didn't know about the good work that they do relative to.
He's thrilled you're talking about this because
is
it
great.
helps them. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to help them. We had a meeting last week, and we spoke about the need for blood, the shortages of blood, how certain components of blood only last 48 hours.
Because you may have needed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, if I can help people and help organizations that have helped me and continue to help other people that are in the same position that I was in or even worse, it's the right thing to do.
So now just to wrap up, 4 months down the road, a little more than 4 months, you're now moving into another place. You're right now at 800 square feet with,
yes.
with 5 people and how many animals?
2.
2, okay. So now you're moving again.
Yes.
How are the kids doing through all of this?
Better. You know, the girls are 15, our twin daughters are 15, our son's 17, he's going off to college in the next month or so. It's been tough on them. I mean, there was a total upheaval, total change to their routines. They're not as close to their friends as they once were. Our daughters obviously don't drive. They will be going back to the same high school, which should alleviate some of the anxiety. But I think the farther away we're getting from it, the better they're able to cope with it. In addition to that, we made some progress in terms of starting to rebuild our new house just today. And I think
insurance money's coming through.
Right, and I think all of that's going to help allow them to focus on the future and the good things that are happening as opposed to what did happen a few months ago.
Leave the folks with a message, and that is to get out now. Don't worry about anything.
Yes, my father, you know, as I said, my father ingrained in my mind something about fire, and coming from somebody who was an officer in a large fire department as well as somebody who almost died in a fire, he always told me, get out, don't look for anything, don't put your pants on, don't put your shoes on, get everybody and get out because you'll never understand how quickly a fire spreads until you see it happen. And I can tell you from experience, in the few moments that I was in that house when it was on fire, it spread a lot quicker than I can articulate. And it's something, you know, I can't explain it, but having seen it, I could tell you my father's words ring truer than ever.
Joe, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
You've done some real good. You don't even know how much good. Thank you.